So for the first time in 4 years, I got my blood tested, and the vegan blood test results got me shook. It's not because I have HIV, which is negative. Oh, thanks God, for I have sinned in my youth. What the f***? It's also not vitamin D, as it's in its optimal level, or vitamin B12, or cortisol, or testosterone. Who am I kidding, man? My blood work is perfect. P-E-R-F-E-C-T, perfect. Period. Come on, dude, what did you expect? Jokes aside, I actually was a little bit nervous before taking my blood. I haven't tracked my nutrient and caloric intake recently and was just ending an experiment of buying groceries only with the money that I make from YouTube. Don't ask me why I did this, but it was a fun ride. A good lesson in starvation. So anyway, I always eat very clean. I haven't eaten ice cream or stuff like that for ages. Just frankly, I don't see the need to. So today I want to touch upon 2 points. You will see a glimpse of them flashed on the screen right now. These points will keep you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Number 1, you should take yearly blood tests. I know what you're thinking right now, but I feel fine. Taking blood tests is just fear-mongering from money-hungry doctors. Let me stick to my anecdotes and eat 20 eggs a day. No, please listen. First of all, doctors are not all evil. And honestly, to some extent, I was raised to think that they are. I always had a big mistrust for the people in white coats until I needed to operate my right eye at the beginning of this year. And guess what? They treated me like a king. The surgeon even gave me his private phone number in case I needed his assistance after I paid. He had nothing to gain from me calling him. I like to think that the reason he gave me his number was because he cared about me, or because he was gay. So anyway, there are the good, the bad, and the ugly doctors, as in every profession. But one of the main motivators for choosing the path of healthcare and go through years and years of extensive training is not to fuck people up. If that is your aim, you would choose to become a lawyer. Just kidding, big brother. I know you're watching these videos, you're doing fine. The reason why people choose the path to become a doctor is usually because they want to help people. But can't we help ourselves, you might ask? Not quite. If you take a look at the anatomy of our body, one thing that we realize is that our brain is encapsulated away from our entire body. Your brain is not near your stomach or near your heart or near your freaking balls. Although that's sometimes where my brain is, it's living comfortably inside a skull which protects it from violent impacts and has a blood-brain barrier which only allows certain substances to enter. Our brain is like a king living in a castle far away from the village that it governs. The king knows that it needs the village to survive. But on the other hand, man, it's a king in a castle. A messenger might come in and say, "Hey king, there are deaf peasants in the village and the local authorities are stocking up the guards. Maybe this is something to worry about." But the king would respond with, everything is fine. It might just be a false alarm. So why is this a problem? Because that's how long I want you to live. A good 100 years if possible. Spending times with your grandkids, or if you are like me, probably with your dogs and cats and YouTube. And that's how long your DNA intends to make you live. A good 30 years. If you're carnivore, probably more like 15. But why only until 30, you might ask? See, at age 12, most of us have the possibility to create offspring. We have the possibility to before that, but let's just not go down that route. What the am I talking about? After getting a girl pregnant, we are probably needed as long until the kid reaches his reproductive age 2, which probably used to be again like 12. And then probably spend the next 5 years as a 25-year-old grandfather, as this increased the survival rate of our offspring's offspring. Man, times used to be pretty messed up. After that, you might as well drop that to your DNA. See how I talked about DNA and not about your brain? Your brain probably wants to live longer, but the DNA is actually the big daddy of your brain. The DNA created the brain to fulfill its purpose of giving away gene copies. So imagine the king again that lives in a castle far away from the village, and there's another king, let's call him the king's king. that lives abroad. The king's king is selfish. He only needs a king and the village on the other land to colonize this new land. After the purpose of the king's king is achieved, he doesn't care about the king or the village anymore. In fact, they could rot 20 feet under the ground. And fun fact, that's what they usually do. Now what is the fun part when it comes to evolution is that the land the king's king, our DNA, is trying to colonize is not finite. It's an infinite territory with multiple other villagers, kings and king's kings in a gruesome battle against each other, constantly trying to outmaneuver, outwit and out-strategize their competitors until the dead bodies of villagers, kings and king's kings are piled up into oblivion and only the most evolved, utterly ruthless and merciless villagers, kings and king's kings survive. Isn't story time with QG always so uplifting? So moral of the story, our brain is actually working against us when we're seeking objective health. So get your yearly blood tests. Number 2, my shocking blood test results. I've blocked my address here just so carnies don't get the idea of sending me mail bombs. I've learned from Tony Stark.
Here's my home address. 10880 Malibu Point, 90265.
Several bad puns later.
This is my last name actually, pronounced Wurst, which is actually a Swiss German word for ugly. So I got that going on for me, which is nice. My ancestors must have been lovely creatures. So anyway, things that I was most interested in was my B12, which is in the optimum range, my vitamin D, which nearly tops the chart, my cortisol, which is somehow on the lower level, although I'm close to leaving anything behind and going to Southeast Asia for at least a quarter year. Gotta love my careless Euron Greyjoy genetics.
It was glorious, like a dance.
The people I was cutting down were your own kin.
Place was getting crowded.
The testosterone, which is on the mid-level, kinda disappointed me a little bit because I'm so manly. Anyway, still in the normal range though. Hemoglobin and red blood cells on the lower level though, which means I could do a little bit more cardio. Until now you've probably also realized that the results are actually in German, but you can go and translate the results one-to-one to know I'm not messing with you. Blood levels are in the normal range, my PLCR seems to be slightly off chart, but my doctor did just essentially write me that all is good. If someone in the comment section which is more profound than me in medical literature can please elaborate on these findings, thank you. Please just tell me that it's not brain cancer. Creatinine is on the higher end, could be because I supplement sporadically with creatine. Glucose also on the lower end, although I eat plenty of fruits and at least 60% of my calories come from carbs. And my total cholesterol. But before I can give you that finding, a short fun story. I didn't got my test delivered on time and called up the doctor nervously. Once I got his secretary on the phone, I was like, I didn't got my blood test results delivered. Just tell me it's not leukemia. Long story short, she didn't get my sense of humor. She told me that my cholesterol is off the chart, which is worrisome. But she can't give me more information and the doctor will call back later. Okay then. After hanging up the phone, I was like, what the hell? Why do I have such high cholesterol as a vegan? Have I done everything wrong in my life? Have I learned nothing from the course of e-cornell? Is swearage truly right? Turns out that my cholesterol is off the chart low, which also could explain my slightly lower HDL 0.92 instead of the 0.93. So freaking close. The total cholesterol to HDL ratio is also on a very healthy level. Conclusion: QG is a health epitome, a true specimen. My DNA was probably already stolen to create a secret North Korean super army. Just kidding, make sure you got your yearly blood test results because our body is not made to self-diagnose. Also make sure to smash the like button on this video. See you next time. The mission of this YouTube channel is to put veganism across the goal line. If you want to help us achieve that, like and subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Let's make food production great again.